This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter down. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And everybody for today, June the 4th, is a legendary runner from Canada. I know you could say it's national bias, but you know what? This guy was an icon, not just for Canada, not just for the British Empire, not just for people in the 1900s, but native, for native runners everywhere. Now, normally I do a person who's alive for my birthday boys and all that, but couldn't find anyone for June 4th that I haven't done before. So just make sure you get to the Sports Catastrophe June chronological list because that's where I will. Yeah, but anyway, this man was an icon, born in Brantford, Ontario, on the Six Nations Reserve, and he was an Iroquois by the name of Kogwagi, Kogwagi, and from Onondaga tribe of the Six Nations. So anyway, he was a great long distance runner and all that. He was a Mohawk. Well, a Mohawk resident of the reserve actually took second in the Boston Marathon in 1901, and it made him interested in running races. So he started racing at age 19 and won the Around the Bay road race in Hamilton in 1906, winning by 3 minutes at age 20. And then in 1907, he took home the Boston Marathon in 2 hours, 24 minutes, 24 seconds. This was the 11th time that the Boston Marathon was held, and he crushed the record. The second, he beat the previous record by almost 5 minutes, literally. So it's just amazing what he could do. Well, it was 24.5 miles. It was 39 kilometers. I think the marathon's like 25 miles or 26 miles. Regardless of that, he would race in the famous 1908 Olympic marathon with several leading runners. Of course, yeah, it was huge and all of that. A lot of people had said that. That's right. Yeah, the 1908 race actually started by the Royal Block, so that's why it made it up being 26 miles and all that. All that. So anyway, 26 miles, 385 yards. That's what happened and all that. Regardless of that, the race was huge and a lot of racers were trying their best and all of that. Unfortunately, many main runners, including Tom Longboat, couldn't finish. So it was just terrible and all that. For Longboat, he collapsed once why several leading runners could not compete. Of course, the 1908 Olympics marathon is known for Johnny Hayes winning the gold medal after Italian Donato Pietri won at first, but he was aided by track workers and all that across the finish line, and you can't do that. So anyway, a lot of people said that Lionel was kind of doped. People doped on him. There was an Olympic rematch at Madison Square Garden for late 1908, and Longboat won that race and won the professional champion of the world race over Petrie and Alfred Shrub in front of sellout crowds. His coaches did not approve of his hard workouts with active rest such as long walks. When he was a professional, a lot of people said he was lazy and all that, even though the practice of incorporating hard, easy, and recovery days into training is normal today. So anyway, there was problems. Longboat got rid of his managers and his times improved. Longboat would be facing knee and back issues post 1909. A lot of people said that his laziness was showing for everything. Longboat's former manager spread false rumors that Longboat trained infrequently, and a lot of sports writers hated Longboat and all that. He was given a suspension sentence in Toronto for drunkenness in 1911, but then the reporters just criticized him heavily and all that. Many newspaper columns were devoted to his alcoholism and didn't take a look at his racing career and post athletic work. However, Longboat did win a few major races in his thing and all that. Anyway, it was just amazing and all that. He was actually a dispatch runner in France in World War One while maintaining a professional career. He was actually twice wounded and twice declared dead while serving in Belgium. Some say he entered a communication trench which was sprayed by an exploding shell, where he and his comrades were trapped for 6 days before being rescued. He debunked that myth and retired following the war. Well, officially an amateur, Longboat only lost 3 total races. By the time he turned professional, he had several unofficial world records and all that. Of course, Longboat had a terrible upbringing because of how Canada was institutionalizing the residential school situation. He grew up in a poor family who lived on a small farm. His father died when he was 3. He was enrolled in the Mohawk Institute Residential School at age 12, a legal obligation under the Indian Act at the time. He did not like school, and he was pressured to give up his Onondaga beliefs for Christianity, and was expected to give up his language. Anyway, so Longboat actually survived a second escape attempt, and he did it, reached the home of his uncle. Eventually, he would marry someone and enlisted in the Canadian Forces, writing messages between military posts. Unfortunately, he had been hit with identity theft. In 1917, a vaudeville singer by the name of Edgar LaPlante from Rhode Island actually pretended to be Longboat and giving concerts that profited from his celebrity. In 1917, he arrived in New York City, enrolling under Longboat's name as a civilian crewman with U.S. Transportation Service. There were a lot of stories and all that about him going to the U.S. Army and all that. A lot of people sided with the imposter. Although Longboat caught on and sent a letter saying, I will make 3 charges against him. One for false statements, one for impersonation, and one for intent to defraud the public. So, anyway, Longboat was allegedly dead. His wife remarried and stayed with her new husband. So Longboat actually decided to marry Martha Silversmith, having 4 children with her, and would settle in Toronto, working until 1944, until in 1949. Well, 1944. Then he went to the Six Nations Reserve and died of pneumonia January 9th, 1949, at the present age of 62. A lot of people said that he was one of the greatest marathoners of all time and all that. The Tom Longboat Awards were instituted in 1951, honoring First Nations athletes and sportsmen in each province. All that. Toronto Island had a 10-kilometer race in his name. He was named a National Historic Person in 1976. He had a public school named after him in Scarborough in 1978. In 1996, he was inducted to the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame, becoming the first person of Native American descent, Onondaga, to win the Boston Marathon, alongside Allison Brown. Um, Tom Longboat Day was declared in Ontario June 4th, 2008. Google made a doodle about Longboat in June 2018. And on June 4th, 2022, Heritage Canada, those Heritage Minutes in Canada, gave them one, which was amazing and all that. It was amazing to see Tom Longboat do so well. I mean, this is a major one because A, he's Canadian. B, he competed in a major sport that's not one of the major sports, but the fact of the matter that marathon running is huge. And C, he's someone of First Nations descent who we need to recognize and not try to put those Native people down. Canada, United States, or otherwise. So there it's that. Anyhow, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do